Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the PD Rest channel. Today I really want to take a look at this combo that I did not know was going to work so well, but I'm having an absolute blast with it, so figured I might as well share it with you all. It's the modifieds at the Watkins Glen Cup layout. It genuinely feels like driving a big go-kart around a road course. It is not super graceful. You have to be rough with it, and it's kind of a handful about the whole time, even even down the straightaways. It kind of wants to wiggle around a little bit. It's a really fun layout and course with this car, which I like this track anyway. But with this car, it's just really cool, and I'd love to see these go to more road courses. I think they did used to go to road courses in real life way back in the day, but I think it's been quite a while since they went to one, and I wish they would go back. So as I've said before, I'm not a road course racer. I don't consider myself to be very good at these, but I do know enough to get around at a pretty decent pace. So we'll make a little bit of a guide here and see if you get anything useful out of it, see if you can bring your lap times down. And we'll go ahead and jump right into it by taking a look at our track map. So here it is, Watkins Glen. We're going to start off, I'm going to walk you through real quickly and briefly about the characteristics at each corner. So getting down into turn 1, this car only has 2 gears, so once you get down in the corner and get slowed down, you're going to throw it down into first gear, and be aware the rear end of the car is going to want to try to snap out on you, and it's probably going to feel really loose under power, but you're going to have to play with it and get used to it. Power it out, and you'll be flat foot mostly. You might lift a little bit to set the car up for the bottom of the S's starting at turn 2, and you'll pretty much be flat foot all the way up the S's through turns 2 and 3, and you're going to kind of pendulum the rear of the car around. You're going to feel it be light the whole time, and it'll be that way all the way through turn 4. But you just have to play with it and find that rhythm where you can get the weight transferred at the right times, and the car works with you pretty well. Going down the straightaway, the car is going to feel kind of lively. It's not going to be super planted in a straight line. And coming into the inner loop or the bus stop, I start braking right on the 400 board or just a hair past it. And once you turn in, you want to clip your right sides on that first set of the curb. That's when I downshift into first. I do know of some drivers that stay in second gear, but I have a tough time getting the car to cooperate and actually turn. So I like to downshift into 1, and then you're going to go a little bit wide and cut back in and hit your left sides on that second curb, and then make sure you get turned to maybe get your right sides on that second curb as you come out of the inner loop, and that's when you're going to upshift into second gear. And you'll keep the power on it briefly as you start driving into turn 5 in the outer loop. You're going to want to breathe out of the throttle a little bit, and then about mid-corner or right before mid-corner, you have to get back into the throttle pretty aggressive, and it's going to feel like it's going to come around on you, and you just have to counter steer it and try to keep your foot planted. If you don't, it doesn't turn quite as well, and you'll run wide into that grass and get loose and probably spin across the track. So try to keep your foot in it, be brave, trust the car. It will most likely hook up. Then I'll give you a good run down into turn 6, and then I brake just before the 300 board and get the car pointed in early so I can keep almost the whole car on that different color asphalt, that little strip that you'll see in that corner. Then you can power out, drive it out to that curb, let it track out. Then that'll set you up nicely for turn 7, where I use as little braking as possible so I've got more grip on the rear. Give it a quick downshift into first gear and power out, and once again it's going to feel pretty loose, but just counter steer it and play with it and fire it out towards that straightaway, and that'll set you up pretty good. And then on your way down into turn 1, I brake just before the 300 marker. If I'm feeling really brave on fresh tires, I can maybe dive it down in between the 300 and the 200 brake marker, but I don't like to go that deep later in the race because the car gets pretty sketchy down into turn 1. So now it's time for the lap. Don't judge my driving too harshly, and we'll see what we can do. So starting off, look for these different color bits of asphalt at the track. They're going to offer you the most grip and basically where the apex is. So use that in first gear, power out. The car's going to be loose. and run it down this section as fast as you can. Now looking ahead of us, we're going to look for the 300 marker. We're going to brake just past it, down into first gear. Don't use up all this curb. The car's going to get really loose. Fight with it and plan it back out. And then now we're flat foot all the way up the S's, again looking for the different colored asphalt. And you can see that we've got the rear of the car kind of swinging around. We're getting that tire slip and we're getting the most out of the tires that we can. And it's doing that all the way up this part of the S's. Now once again, looking ahead of us, we're looking for the 400 board. Right on it, start braking. And down into first, carry momentum, but not too awful much, but focus on getting a good exit out of the bus stop. Then power out, and we let off and kind of let the car roll. Here it's going to feel really, really loose, but you got to flat foot it and hang on to it, or else it won't turn like it needs to get through there as fast as possible. Coming down the short chute, looking for the 300 board. Getting the car turned in early to keep our right sides on that different color track as long as possible. Just catching the curb, going down into first gear, once again staying in that different color track. Power it back out, and that's going to set you up for a pretty decent lap. Now we come across this time to set a 112.024. I was pretty happy with that, but I have seen faster, so there are some people that can run down in the 111s, which is incredibly impressive. So just some final tips. If you run that style qualifying lap throughout the whole race, you'll be quick starting out, but you're going to find that you're going to burn that left rear tire off. And it won't actually be really worn at the end of the race, but it'll be really hot. This particular race that this footage came from, my left rear tire was about 70 degrees Fahrenheit hotter than any other tire on my car, which is why I was losing so much pace to the driver behind me that did a really good job of keeping his tires on his car. And that's why at the end of the race he was coming up and putting some real pressure on us. So as the race goes on, your car will become looser. Your entry into turn 1 is going to get a bit sketchy, and when you get back on power it's going to get looser. You'll be pretty much flat foot through the S's throughout the whole race. And then when you come through that long right-hand turn at turn 5, that's also going to get looser as well. So if you want to, you can be a little bit easier through there and give up a little bit of time on your corner exit so you can keep the left rear tire cooler, and that might help you over the longer run. In qualifying though, go for it. But a lot of the speed that you get with this car comes from learning it and trusting it. Kind of like in turn 5, know when it's going to hook up, and then going through the S's. As a matter of fact, I've got some onboard audio from Darrell Waltrip. Little known fact, when he drove a modified around here and he was in the S's.
Keep your foot in it. Keep your foot in it.
Totally unedited live footage, that. Anyway, as you go throughout the race, the car is going to get a bit looser. Your entry and exit at turn 1 is going to get sketchier, and so is that turn 5. But just hang on to it, trust the car, and for the most part, you'll be okay. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got some tricks for the track, and good luck. Definitely try this combo out before it leaves, because it's a lot of fun. I'd love to see more of it. So thank you all for watching. Good luck in your races. Have a good one, and I'll see you all in the next video.